Hi, we're here with Ray Caragher and Deb Laubach. We believe the doorway to true love and romance is found through the discovery of your past lives.
My name is Deb Laubach, and I am a writer with my partner, Ray Caragher. We write about past life romance.
And I'm Ray Caragher.
He's the other half.
And ever since I tried to figure out what a prepositional phrase was in third grade, I've wanted to write, but I was afraid I didn't know what that was. So I basically didn't write. And I spent a great deal of my life knowing that there was something more to life. Life had a deeper meaning to it. Past lives has been a subject that I have researched and studied and thought about, and I have memories of past lives.
He does research. Some of our readers have come up with
Shared some things. Oh my God.
Shared ideas, and you have done research.
And
lo and behold, you have found things that corroborate what this individual was speaking of. Yeah. And it's been more than one person, and it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I mean, remember that woman who shared the life of being an Indian,
right,
in the Midwest back, and I mean,
she was very detailed.
She gave me some details about her life as a young Indian woman and with a certain tribe, and even described the things that the tribe buries and did stuff. And I was amazed because I grew up in the Midwest. When I started doing the research on it, it's like she must have done the research before she talked and told us about what happened. But she was actually,
but she didn't.
She didn't do it that way. She didn't know anything about it.
She
didn't
just
know
had
where. Didn't have any idea.
She had a past life regression, and that's what she discovered.
Both of us have experienced, I think, you've been regressed.
Yes.
And both of us have a lot of interesting things that we feel the past lives is actually about. It's about the traveling of the soul. I was meeting with a friend of mine for dinner, and we got in a conversation about past lives, and he expressed to me that he really had no recollections of past lives. However, in our conversation, I related a story that I experienced with my wife one afternoon on a battlefield from the Civil War. And he turned to me near the end of dinner and he said, now that you bring up the Civil War, I do have an absolutely crazy fascination about medical equipment from the Civil War. I've actually bought some. And I looked at him and I said, you've bought medical equipment from the Civil War and you're not even a doctor? He's a banker, big time banker. And I looked at him and I said, Greg, you are buying equipment that has to do with medical and you're telling me that you don't believe in past lives? The comedy, or whatever you want to call it, the interesting part of this, is a few days later, my wife got a phone call from her friend who said, since we were at dinner with you and we began to talk about past lives, he has not stopped dreaming every night of a past life during the Civil War. You tell me. I've had dreams. You tell me. You ask me what this is about. It's about having the freedom to think outside the box. We live in a world that everything has to be, if it's real, you can see it, you can touch it, you can smell it, you can look at it. You can't do that when it comes to past lives. So obviously they don't exist, nor does love. Show me a pound of love. Show me a pound of fear. There is no such thing.
Because it's an emotion.
Yeah. And the thing that holds us back the most is fear. Fear of being wrong, fear of being a fool. And I can go down a whole list of things about fear. Love frees us. Fear is what stops us. because we don't want to look like a fool.
I agree with you 100%. When I would carry my daughter in the Bjorn, and she was old enough to face out, we were in Barnes & Noble and looking for books. She always had her legs moving like she was actually walking. She was only 4 or 5 months old at the time, but facing out and seeing the whole world. And her little legs did not stop moving, like I said, as if she was walking herself. I swear she was an old soul born into a new body, was really pissed off that she couldn't get off the couch and walk over and pour herself a glass of milk herself. That's why she was an angry little baby. But anyway, I loved her. And there was a woman that came up to us. We were looking in one little section. She says, "Oh, she's so beautiful." And my natural instinct at that moment was to hold my daughter's hands. And my daughter started to cry. And it wasn't because I was holding her hands. It was because I was protecting her. And she was looking away from this woman who only wanted to see this beautiful little baby girl. But Lauren looked away from her and she started crying. So I removed myself and my daughter very easily and said, "Oh, she's just tired," and walked away. And as soon as we walked away, she was fine. She reached up with her hand and touched my hair, my ears, and it was so sweet. And I knew that at that moment, my goodness, my daughter has traveled. This soul is stuck in this little body that is only going places that I take her. She's an old soul.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, after reading Brian Weiss's book way back when it first came out,
Many Lives, Many
Masters.
Masters, right?
I have been on a journey ever since then. I love asking people, what do you think of the subject of past lives? And the answers amaze me. Well, I can hear somebody saying to me, I don't believe in past lives. My mother does. And they relate some story. Or someone will say to me, my wife has been regressed. She's actually experienced some past lives. I find that all of us are searching. But are we searching, or is it our soul searching for a completion? And what is the completion? The completion to me is what we're writing about. Love. Finding whatever it is that completes the soul. The soul is on a journey. We are just nothing more than the boat. Soul's inside, floating along in that boat, and when the boat wears out, gets a new one to float in. We continue, really believe that my soul, your soul, Deb's soul, has been journeying for quite a while. And I think what you experienced with Lauren, I think, you know, when she was a baby, I think that all of us can relate to being turned off by somebody because of something we cannot even identify, perhaps something in the past, you know, whatever it is. I'm very excited about our topic, and I hope people don't just read the book. Yes, it's a little hot, it's got a little steamy, I call it. It's got a great love line, but it's deeper than that. It's just like reading Moby Dick in a way. It's not about hunting whales and finding one so big it could take down your boat. It's deeper than that. Look at the mystery.
They are beautiful, wonderful stories of, bottom line, true love. That's where we're at.
I noticed under the further reading section on mysticscribblers.com, you mentioned Edgar Cayce. Can you tell us a little about him?
Edgar Cayce was born in the mid-1800s, and he was very intuitive about people's health, about predictions of things that were going to happen in the world, some which never come to be, of course, but was very attuned to the point that he died during World War II because he would never stop reading for people who had questions about loved ones, because unlike today where you could have a son or a daughter serving the country somewhere, there was no cell phones and no way to communicate. And if you had a loved one who was over in Italy fighting, you had no idea whether or not they were alive or well. And people would come to him because they hadn't heard from someone, and seek his willingness to open up to what was going on. And eventually it caused health problems for him because he just did too much. But he couldn't stop. He was even warned by what he called the master spirit that he was doing too much and it was going to cost him in the end. But he couldn't say no.
Well, they spoke through him.
They spoke through him. He went into a self-trance. And a lot of times within that trance, it was interesting the way that he would, read somebody or work with somebody.
And he's probably really lucky that he wasn't discovered in the witch hunt days, because
yes, he would have been.
He would have been burned at the stake.
Well, I believe a lot of people that have been tortured and destroyed has been because they are exceptional. They are different. They are attuned to something in the cosmos, to me, that we need to listen to. There's something going on that's so much bigger than my job today, or it's a greater story. And not that you don't stop living your life and doing your job and supporting your family, but there's something grander going on. And we challenge you. You can send questions to the website or share your experiences. It's all putting the puzzle pieces together to form the picture.
Thank you for joining us. Please go to mysticscribblers.com and send Ray and Deb a message. Let them know what you think about this podcast, their book series, and whatever past life stories you may have of your own. We'd love to hear from you.